guys, it's Carissa, Lynn. Welcome back to my channel. Got a little song there. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. Or welcome for the first time if for some reason this is your first video. Like I said in all my other videos, I do recommend watching the first video first because it gives a little bit of context to what is going on, what this series is, and what my whole book is about. And yeah, but this is my book, After All This, and it is a poetry book, and today we are going to be reading one of the poems for you guys. Well, I'm going to be reading it. I guess you're going to be listening. But if you do have a copy at home, feel free to read with me. And today we're doing a super short one, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about with this one. And I also read this poem on my podcast with my best friend. Podcast is called What the Fuck, and it's about just us living lives as young adults and trying to figure it out. And yeah, so little plug for that. You can find that on Spotify or Anchor. But yeah, I read that poem on I read this poem on there too because I read it for our little words of wisdom section, and I think it is words of wisdom, and I think it's really an important question for people to ask themselves. So this poem is called Have You Ever? It's super short, and it goes like this. Have you ever considered that not everyone is out to get you? Let me read that again. Have you ever considered that not everyone is out to get you? And this poem, like the rest of them, like I said in many videos, I wrote this one kind of as a question for my ex, because they are the kind of person that doesn't really forgive. You know, they've been through a lot of trauma, and I've been through a lot of trauma, and the type of fights that we would get in all the time, like constantly, we're always fighting. I think they assume that, a lot of times they assume that people are trying to hurt their feelings on purpose. Like, I'm doing this thing to hurt your feelings on purpose. I did this thing to upset you on purpose. I did this thing so that we would fight on purpose. And at least for me, that was never the case. I never did anything on purpose to upset this person. I never tried to cause them more harm than they've already been through. But because of the trauma that they've been through, because of the trauma that a lot of people have been through, a lot of people my age that I know, a lot of people from my generation, from like, you know, millennials and Gen Z, we're not good at forgiving. And I talked about this on my podcast. And I talked about, you know, how heavy cancel culture is right now, and just being like, this person did me wrong, they're gone, they're cut off, we're not talking, we're never talking again. But I think what's really important is to consider that not everybody is out to get you. You know, not everybody is trying to hurt your feelings on purpose. Not everybody is trying to fuck you over, for the lack of a better term. Not everybody is trying to get you, and I think that if this person that I was with had considered that a little more heavily, I think we would have we would have had a lot less harm done to each other, in just assuming that you did this on purpose. You know, you did this to hurt me. You're always hurting my feelings. You're always doing this, and you're always, you know, you hurt my feelings so often. You never consider my feelings. Of course I consider your feelings. Of course this person considered your feelings. You know, you know, like, just not everybody is always trying to hurt you all the time. And I think it's really important to realize and recognize that in any kind of relationship, your feelings are going to get hurt. That's just how life works. you're gonna hurt each other's feelings. You're gonna step on each other's toes. You're gonna annoy each other. That just happens. Humans don't always blend seamlessly together, and that's normal. And so I thought that was really important. And like I said, it was originally kind of a little jab at my ex and kind of a question for them. But yeah, I think it's an important question that everybody should be asking themselves. And it's something that I find myself trying to ask myself is, I know that my feelings are hurt. I know that I'm deep in my feelings, and I feel broken and hurt, and how could this person do this? But even, like, for me, I was the one who was broken up with, and constantly all the time I had to evaluate, like, the intention is not always to hurt somebody, like, of course, like, breaking up with somebody is not easy. It's not easy to do. And no matter my situation, obviously I think it could have been a much smoother breakup, but no matter how many times we hurt each other's feelings in my relationship, I think it would have been so much healthier for us to both consider that we're not doing this on purpose. And so that is that poem. A little food for thought, if you will. Maybe something you can evaluate in your own life, in your own relationships. Or if you are having a hard time forgiving somebody or forgiving a group of people, or if you have trauma with a specific person or a group of people, it's a good question to ask yourself and consider that moving forward in my life, yes, I've been hurt, but I do have to know that not everybody's intention is to hurt me. And I think that's, like I said, I think that's super important to consider. That was Have You Ever from After All This, which, like I said, in all of my other videos, you can find on Amazon. The links for it will be everywhere. You can go onto the Amazon book section. You have to go to the book section to look it up, because there's so many things on Amazon that it just gets so congested and lost. So go to the book section and look up After All This with my name, and you can find it there, purchase it there. I believe it's Prime, so you can get it 2-day shipping. Or the link will be on my landing page, in my bio, in the description, on all my socials. The link is everywhere. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening or maybe reading today with me if you already have the book. And I will see you for the next video and the next poem.